Hey guys, it's Marty from owingsart.com, and thanks for stopping by today as we take a look at these Colleen pencils, originally manufactured in Japan, now made in Taiwan. These are really popular pencils in Asia. Lots of people use these colored pencils, and today we're going to take a close look at them. I get lots of requests to review these pencils, and just now getting around to doing that, so sit back, relax, and we'll take a look at these colored pencils from Colleen. One thing I will say, this pack is it's really 30 pencils, but the pencils are divided in half, so you get one color on one half of the pencil and another color on the other half of the pencil. So picture this, maybe you get about half of the drawing capacity you would in a normal pencil, but you get twice the colors. And in this particular set, the 60 set, it comes with two new colors. I think it's kitty pink and hot red, as it says on the package there. But when I open these pencils up and take a look at them, there's not really any rhyme or reason to the color layout, the way the pencils are situated. It's just like they were randomly inserted in the box with little or no regard for the exact order or color matching or anything like that, as you can see here. I mean, the yellows are separated, some of the greens, and I don't know, it's because one side of the pencil is one color and one's the other, or if they could have kept the shades the same or whatnot, that would have been helpful. Another thing you'll immediately notice about these, and here's some technical details about the pencils, is they have a hexagonal shape, so on a tilted work surface they won't tend to roll off if the angle's not too extreme. They do have a small core, a 3.2 millimeter core, and we'll talk about some of the drawbacks of that in a minute, and they are wax based. But one of the things you notice, like I said, immediately, they come unsharpened. You will have to sharpen them, and sharpening them is quite a chore. If you're going to hand sharpen those, like I broke a lot of pencils sharpening these. If you're going to hand sharpen them, set aside about 45 minutes to an hour of your time to do that. The actual color that comes out of the end of the pencils is quite nice, and has a nice soft feel to it, and it's pretty vibrant, and they feel nice in your hands. There's no color name on the pencil themselves, but there is a number, so if you want to look up the exact color name and where it falls on the color chart, you'll have to go to fan sites to find that information, because even the Colleen website, there's not much there. It's called Colleen.net, and I don't know if it has like a Japanese equivalent website, but I couldn't find it. So if you know about it and you found it, please leave a note in the comments section of the video and share it with the other viewers and subscribers to the channel. But like I said, the colors in these pencils actually go down pretty nice. They feel good in your hand. Pencils do have a pretty significant fatal flaw, and we'll get to that in a little bit here. But what I really wanted to do is take these pencils out and give them a good workout in terms of getting the color down and just seeing how they blended and erased and things like that. And we'll get to more of that here in a minute. And my initial impressions of these pencils are pretty positive once you get the color down. So like if you are an adult coloring book artist, you'll be able to use these, I think, pretty easy in your work. But one of the things that you can do is that the leads are hard enough that you can keep a pretty good point on them if you're careful, but you will have to sharpen them, and that's where it leads to the pencil's overall downfall, and that is very difficult to sharpen, very easy to break. And I don't know if it has something to do with the clay versus wax content in the pencil itself, but again, extremely easy to break these leads, and that's unfortunate because otherwise the colors are quite nice. Here what I'm going to do is lay down some colors, do a little mixing, and then I'm going to try to use some petroleum jelly. I didn't have any alcohol handy, so I'm just going to use a little Q-tip with some petroleum jelly on it to try to blend these a little bit. So here you can see I'm going to try to get there's a yellow and a red to try to get a little purple, and I could get a little purple there. Now I'll try to get a little green with some yellow and blue. The thing with the pencils, you know, the other thing you have to consider when you buy pencils like this, it's kind of gimmicky to have a pencil split into two colors. So you have to consider that when you're weighing whether or not you want to buy a particular colored pencil brand, because it better be pretty good if you're only going to get half a pencil for your money. Now, the value proposition with these is pretty strong, considering that you can get these 30 pencils or 60 different colors for right around $20 US, plus a little something for shipping in there. But you know, if you think about it, okay, so that's 30 pencils, 60 colors, you're paying about 33 cents a color, I guess, but you're only getting half a pencil. And so, but even at that value proposition, the pencil needs to be a decent quality. It can't constantly break on you and having to resharpen them, and then you're left with no color. So what is the point in spending the extra money if the pencil isn't going to work well or hold up well over time? Now you can see here, as I started to blend some of these colors, I'm getting some chipping and fragmenting of the lead itself, which, you know, I'm not putting a lot of pressure on these pencils, and you're still seeing some of that chipping and breaking of the end of the lead. And that's not where the problems end with these pencils. So that's just sort of a leading indicator. But all in all, you know, the pencils blend nicely. The colors, again, are smooth and more or less vibrant. So no complaints there about the pencils. It's just that, and you'll see here in a second, I'll take the Q-tip blender and we'll blend these a little bit. But just that it's missing the sort of quality that you would expect from a decent colored pencil. So time to try a little bit different kind of blending here. There's a little tiny bit of petroleum jelly. Just any kind of petroleum substance generally will work on a wax-based colored pencil, in my experience. Now, I would normally use maybe some alcohol, but I didn't have any handy, and well, I could break into some 20-year-old scotch, but I figured I'd do it this way instead and leave the scotch intact. But anyway, here is the blending, and it's okay. You know, when I blend two colors together, it works fine. You know, about like most other lower student grade colored wax pencils would perform at that level. But I just was fascinated doing this and looking at the neons. The neons are really bright with these pencils, and a lot of the mainstream like pencil producers won't push the color band too far. Like, you very rarely see Caran d'Ache or a Faber-Castell or higher end pencil company come out with a bright neon color, mostly because they figure, well, those are colors for kids or something like that. But I know a lot of artists that like those bright, vibrant colors, so it's just interesting to see, and you can see how lively that color is. So the blending was just so, you know, and again, petroleum jelly, not quite the greatest blending medium in the world, but nonetheless what I had handy. Well, time to take a look at this, the flaw I mentioned these pencils have, and here it is right here. You know, I'm just pushing pretty gently, as I normally would on this pencil, to try to get a nice mark on the paper, and yep, there we go. So lots of the pencils do this. They just randomly break during usage, and it's so wasteful when you have that kind of breakage. So I just don't think the formula and the pencils is right for where they need it to be. And even the really nice neon pencil, yep, what a waste to just have to, you know, have those leads break off, and just happened with pencil after pencil after pencil. So, you know, I'm not doing anything special here. I just sharpened them up, and they tend to just break a lot. They break in the sharpener, they break outside the sharpener, they break with low, medium, or hard pressure. So anyway, on to the final ratings for these. The hardness, like I said, pretty good, and you can keep a point on these if you're careful. The core, really just average. The color, though, was quite nice to use. Sharpening's a train wreck. Don't even bother or be very careful when you do it. Erasability was decent. The quality overall just below average, and for a value, when you think about you're getting half a pencil, well, you have to think about that. So I just gave these an average sort of rating, or slightly below average really, because when you think about it, there's just too many things wrong with these pencils for me to recommend them. So that's kind of where I am on the Colleen pencils, and I'm sorry if that's a disappointment to the folks out there who use them and swear by them, but for the money, I just think you can buy a much better pencil, either, if you're doing finished work or even sketching or even student grade work. I mean, if you're just looking for a pencil to sketch with, you can still do, I think, much better than these. And I know there'll be artists that'll swear by these, and maybe adult colorers that use them quite a bit. And maybe there's some secret to sharpening these pencils that I don't know about, or that others can recommend in the comments section. But for me, I just cannot recommend these pencils. The quality wasn't there, as I say. So yeah, just a little disappointing, because lots of people, I mean, especially from Asia, have asked me to go ahead and review these pencils, thinking, I was really looking forward to it, thinking maybe they'd stack up like the Mitsubishis do and some other types of pencils made in Asia, but these just didn't do the trick. Now, one thing that a YouTube subscriber named Chris had recommended to me was to try some Holbein colored pencils, and so I'm going to give those a try. Those are made in Japan, and like the Colleens used to be, and as I understand it, they're really good pencils. They're a little expensive and not really available in the States yet, but I think I can order them directly from Japan, so I'll do a review on the Holbein colored pencils sometime soon. But I'm sorry to say, and sad to say a little bit, that I have to give a thumbs down to these Colleen colored pencils. Well, thanks for checking them out with me. This has been Marty from owingsart.com. Thanks for stopping by today, guys. Have a great day. So long for now. Bye-bye.